Hi, I'm Paul Bowman, CEO at Wexer, the digital fitness specialist who deliver over 25 million fitness experiences per year for our partners worldwide. Welcome to the Wexer podcast, where I'll be speaking to industry experts to bring you insights and advice to support your business journeys. In today's episode, I'm actually really excited for this one. I'll be chatting to the legend that is Michael Bruno. He's the founder and CEO of Core Health and Fitness, who is widely recognized as a pioneer who revolutionized the offshore manufacturing model for fitness equipment, leading the charge long before the industry even caught up. Core Health and Fitness is the global partner and manufacturer who sells, installs, and supports high-quality commercial fitness equipment for the iconic brands such as Stairmaster, Swin, Nautilus, Star Trek, Throwdown, and of course, Wexer. Michael, how are you? Welcome to the Wexer pod.
I'm doing well. Thanks, Paul. How are you?
Very, very good. Look, I think for those many know your past, but I think for those listeners that don't, I think probably my first question to tee you up is, what got you into the fitness industry in the first place?
Well, that's an interesting question. I could answer it in one phrase: a beautiful blonde.
I knew there was going to. By the way, listeners, there's going to be some great stories that comes out of Michael in this next 30 minutes.
No, I was in the bike business. I went to China in 1988. I was broke. It's too long. It's another podcast to tell you why I went to China, and I went there to run a bicycle factory. I never was in a factory in my life, I don't think, and I didn't speak the language. I didn't know anyone there. I knew a Taiwanese guy for a week, a minute, and he convinced me, and it sounded like a good deal, and I convinced people to put their money in, and I went and start managing a bicycle factory from scratch, and we actually got it up off the ground. The problem was it was too early in China. It was 1988, 89. Our quality was horrific, and I struggled for about 4 years, and I had no idea what I was going to do because I wasn't making any money. I was miserable because I wasn't making any money, and
Yeah.
I had just destroyed some careers along the way in the bicycle business because I was a great salesman. I
Yeah.
just couldn't produce the bikes that I wanted to produce because the Chinese factory was not capable.
Right.
There was no frame of reference, and it was just
And,
it,
and
it was just a cluster mess. And there's another word to use, but I won't use it on this podcast.
let's keep it friendly, just in case people are listening in their car with their kids.
Yeah, right,
The
right.
what? Because of course we have a lot of entrepreneurs that listen to this podcast. Like, what were your major drivers to do that? What was it? Was it money? Was it legacy? Was it success? I feel like
It was all of that. I wanted to. I knew I could do something. I was floundering in the U.S. I was in the bridge building business, and I went bankrupt in 1980, like a lot of people did.
right.
That was the Carter years, and I floundered around for a few years and tried my hand at a number of things, and then this opportunity came up, and like I said, it's too long of a story to tell you how it came up, but it was pretty interesting too. And so I went to China. I was there 4 years. I was home for the holidays, and it was the first holiday that since my mother had passed. My mother passed while I was in China, and
Right.
as everyone is mostly, I was very close to my mother, and it was a very sad holiday, and it was New Year's Eve, and I was at a friend's bar, restaurant, bistro, whatever you want to call it, and it was 8 or 9 o'clock, and I was going home. I was already had enough to drink, and I was sad. And this outrageous, beautiful blonde who I knew for a long time, actually, she used to date George Clooney. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, so that'll put you know where what tier she was in, and
Yeah.
she said, "Michael, I've been looking for you," and that woke me up, and she said, "I have someone I want you to meet. They know you're in China. They want to invest in a fitness factory." And I said, yeah, I'd love to talk to him, but I'm going home. And she said, no, Michael, please. He's going to be here in about an hour. It actually turned into 3 hours, but she babysat me. And, you know, she's the only one in the whole bar that could have kept me there. And
Yes.
she did. And I met this guy, and he had an investor, and it started with an investment of $60,000. And I had about $7,000 to my name. And we started a company called I don't even know what the name of it was, but I by that time I had had a business license. So I had already gotten my business license as a foreigner, and I was the first American in Fujian province to have a
Okay.
business license. So we started with from nothing, seven
Wow.
people, and I
Yeah.
built it into what it is today. And the factory's there. We have a 1 million square foot factory in China that we own, and Gainline's my partner, and that factory I'm very proud of because I gave up my golf game to act as the general contractor, and I built the factory myself with Chinese subcontractors and managed them, and it was so much fun, and um, that's where we're at.
And what, like, if, again, talking to the entrepreneurs that are listening, what was the, like, what advice would you give? You know, I feel like there's a lot of people that are sitting on the
You
fence at
know,
the moment.
there's a
Risk.
famous quote, and I don't have it exact. Um,
It's okay. You can paraphrase.
it's from F. Scott Fitzgerald,
Right.
and it's never confuse the initial defeat as the final defeat. So
Okay.
everybody's going to get punched in the mouth,
Beaten
you
up.
know that.
Yeah. Mike
But
Tyson.
get up, yeah, no, get
Mm.
up, dust yourself off, and keep going. Um,
And how do you, how, like, I guess, you know, for an individual knowing you as well as I do and learning more about you in terms of your risk appetite has always been quite high. Like, is that one of your greatest strengths? Is it something that it's been hard to live
well,
with?
people talk about this person's glass is half empty and this person's glass is half full.
Yeah.
My glass is 3/4 full
I
all the time.
like
I
that.
I just think we could. I'm going to tell you a story, and
Please.
it's based on fact, and it was my big break to say in the fitness business. I had met while I was in the bicycle, and this is another tip for people: always treat everyone like you want to be treated. And
Golden rule. Mm.
I met a German bicycle salesman for a company called Quella, which was a huge company at the time, one of the biggest in all of Europe. And he was just a assistant to the bicycle buyer for this company, this Quella German company. I met him through another German friend of mine in China, and we had some drinks, and I bought him dinner. At that time,
Mm.
I was, I was a little bit flush, and I'm not like Tony DeLee. I'm not afraid of a check. Okay, and
No, that's another podcast. Yeah.
yeah,
Tony was
yeah,
actually
and
on the early days of the Wexer podcast. So if anyone wants to listen to Tony, they can
yeah,
go
yeah,
through that.
good. He's a very interesting guy. But anyway, I had met him and I bought him dinner and we had some drinks and we had a good time. I treated him with respect and he treated me with respect, and it was, it was fun. And you fast forward 3 years, I'd say, and I'm in Germany at ISPO, which is a huge show. It's more of a consumer show than a
Mm.
commercial show like FIBO. And I'm meeting with a German supplier and who a pretty big dealer. He was a dealer, and somehow he got in touch with me and he wanted to give me this business. And I spent all the money I had in my pocket. What I was a gambler all my life, and we called it your case money. That's all you got. It's in your pocket. And
Yeah.
I went there, and honestly, my wife was pregnant. I hadn't paid the rent on our little factory for months, in the apartment for months, and I didn't have a car, I didn't have a phone. So I went there with my glass being 3/4 full, that this guy was going to give me enough orders to keep me moving forward and make some money.
Yeah.
And made me sit around all day for 2 days and just jacked me around. And finally, the second day, I blew up and I gave him the finger and I stormed out of his booth. And when I got outside, there were thousands of people speaking dozens of languages.
Yeah.
And I didn't know where I was going because I didn't know anyone there. And I could go straight, I could turn right, or I could turn left. And honestly, I was dizzy. I was frustrated. I was every negative thing you could
Emotion.
possibly be.
Mhm.
And I'm walking up the aisleway, dazed. I turned left and I hear, Michael Bruno. And here it's that German guy. He recognized me. I had ran into him. I mean, there were probably 100,000 people at that show, and I ran into
Okay.
him. But
The
and
guy from dinner.
from
Yeah.
Quella, from the
Yeah.
guy I bought a beer for. And
Yeah.
he says, "What are you doing here?" And I said, I'm in the fitness business." And he said, "I'm the new fitness buyer for Quella, and I'm looking for a Chinese manufacturer." And make a long story short, he sent me back packing to Hong Kong to meet his partner in Hong Kong,
Yes.
the assistant buyer. And he was there in a day or two. And that year, he gave me $7 million worth of business and turned my whole life around.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, I just often wonder what would have happened if I'd have gone straight or turned right. Um,
And not bumped into the guy that gave you seven. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a very, very good
I
story.
mean, it wasn't like I was going to meet him for sure because, like I said, it's a huge show. If
Show
anyone's
it is. Yeah.
been there, they'll know. I mean, at that time, it was about 100,000 people showed up for that show in a 5-day period. And so, you can't give up. Good things will happen if you keep
Yeah.
working.
Yeah. And then so that was the start of the early days of the Land America strategy for core health
Yeah.
and fitness as well.
No, no, it
Take
turned
us back
into
to
Land
that.
America.
Yeah.
And then I developed, because I had shipped so many bad bikes, we tripled down on quality. And so our consumer uh, business was known to be the highest quality consumer fitness in the world.
Mm,
And I was one of the first, if not the first, to ship finished goods from China to the United States
yeah.
and to Europe, and mostly to Europe,
And
mostly to Germany.
give listeners a year. What year is this?
This is 1990. I started about 1993,
Okay.
94.
Right. Yeah.
95, I was doing really well. 94 is when I met the German guy in Munich. I think it was
Yeah.
Munich. Yeah, Munich
Yeah.
or Cologne. I'm not sure which
Yeah.
one. And so the opening was that most American manufacturers and most German, or not manufacturers, most American retailers and German retailers were buying through agents.
Yeah.
And
Right.
the reason they were doing that is they couldn't deal with the Taiwanese or the Chinese. They were frightened of the language barrier.
Sure.
Well, I didn't have that. I could talk to a lot of, most of the German buyers spoke English. Obviously, all the Americans did. So they could deal with me directly. And I could honestly tell you, I put more middlemen out of business
Yeah.
in the United States and Germany than any single person
Yeah.
because they didn't
Yeah.
have to pay that extra 30% anymore or whatever they were
Yes.
putting, margins they were putting on.
That's
They
right.
were, uh, a lot of them went by the wayside and fast.
Yeah. And like because there's so much like it seems so obvious now because of course so many people have copied that same strategy. But then were you surprised at how many people weren't doing exactly what you were doing?
No, because I knew how hard it was to do business in China. That was
Right.
no, it was no day at the beach. Trust
Yeah.
me, I'm making it sound easy. It was
You are.
not easy, you know.
Okay.
It was not easy those early days in China. It was, I had everything from my Chinese workforce quitting because they were trying to steal my business, my customers, to
Okay.
um, anti-dumping. It was a fun ride, I can tell you
Yeah.
that. I had a ball, but it was never easy.
But do you think the analogy is similar? Like, of course, the AI is the conversation at the moment, but it's like I just think about the work put in by particular, learning from the past. It's actually understanding what the implications of AI are and trying to understand the hard side of actually, the hard side of AI is actually implementing it to get it to be realistic to a business and actually have realistic outcomes. That's what you did with Land America in terms of cutting out the middleman. So the analogy is the same. It's do the find something that's hard and solve people's problems, right? That's the core of business.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm 35 years older now, and
Okay,
so I mean, I don't have the energy for that. But we have
of
people like
course,
you and that
yes,
work for us that do. And
yeah,
although I did come up with a pretty good, I think, digital or tech idea.
yeah,
We have Wexer on our new Apex councils. And I came up with an idea called core coaching that would be right under quick start. And you would click on there and you'd get tutorials through Wexer on how to use the equipment. And initially it would be for beginners. I have my daughter, she doesn't work out, and I trying to get her a membership to Lifetime or to Equinox. She lives in New York, and she said, "Dad, I'm so intimidated." And
mm,
and I said, "Well, I'll get you a trainer." And she says, "They intimidate me even more." And I said, "Well, and here's the idea." She goes, everybody can walk on the treadmill or trot on the treadmill or whatever run. If you are on that treadmill, what are you doing? You
yeah,
could be
agreed.
looking at Wexer,
Yeah,
core
and getting more
coaching, and
confident.
learning how to use a selectorized machine,
Yeah,
learning the proper way to use dumbbells.
yeah,
And it'll give you enough confidence to try.
yeah,
And then later on, then you could move to a trainer and or maybe the moderate levels. But
yeah,
I think it's a good way for club owners. And I talked to a club owner, and he thinks it's a great idea. It's a selling
yeah,
tool for
yeah.
new members that a lot of the members don't know how to work out
Well,
or have
I
never
think
really worked out.
if as you see, I guess human capital becoming too expensive or just not working within business models, naturally operators are going to have to engage with digital solutions to support and inspire their people. And this is a great add-on that can live within the partnership of Wexer and Core that actually supports the member and therefore helps the operator. So we're
Yeah.
more to come on that. You've literally got a little bit of an exclusive from Michael Bruno himself. So more to come, more releases, and we'll tell you when it's on the consoles ready to be used. So yeah, but I agree though. I think the thing I love about you the most, Michael, is that you're always willing to help, and you've always helped the industry in terms of if getting the right products at the right time, finding ways to be able to meet people's budgets. And I think the next evolution is how do we help the members have an experience where we're supporting them no matter what. If you've got the ability to have a PT or not have ability to have a PT, I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
not everyone can afford a private trainer, and
yeah.
these people maybe in the future they'd have private trainers, but they have to take that uh, first step, like the first time you jumped in a swimming pool.
Yeah, agreed. And then I guess for you, what excites you the most in terms of Core's growth trajectory now? Of course, saw the active purchase, moving into other verticals. Right now, what's the exciting thing that you'd like to share?
Well, I think. COVID threw everybody off, and I hate using that excuse because it seems like it was 2 decades ago, but I think we've finally, knock on wood, got a handle on quality and service at Core Health and Fitness.
Yeah.
And I had a large dealer here, and I just did a trip to Europe about a month and a half ago and met with all our dealers there. And they're all saying the same thing. Our quality has improved dramatically,
Yeah.
and the service is good. And, we're pleasing our customer. There's nothing was more disappointing than when we had quality issues in the early years of Star Trek. And honestly, when I bought Star Trek, I didn't know what I was getting into. Um,
Yeah.
it was, I talk about naive at an older age. That's what I was. I think I was 60 at that time. And geez, when I took over, there were 55,000 outstanding parts worldwide.
Wow.
And yeah, and I had to battle that, and it was, in its own way, it was fun because we
Yeah.
were making progress and bringing it down. But also, there were so many angry people who blamed me, even though it wasn't my fault. I was the knight on a in shining armor coming in to save their butts, but they didn't look at it like that. I bought the
No.
company, so I owned
You
the
bought the problem.
problems.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even
And
though I
and
was
that
solving.
and that year was when? When did Star Trek get
I
purchased?
think that was 2011 or 2012. I can't even remember.
Yeah.
The amazing thing, Paul, was I bought it. The only other bidder was a bank, or it wasn't a bank. It was a PE firm. It was
Yeah.
what's that guy's name that owns Microsoft? It
Bill
was
Gates.
his, yeah, it was his family
Yeah.
office.
A family of
And
okay.
and their plan was to stiff everyone. They were
Okay.
not going. No, they were. They were going to just take the business, um, buy it for almost nothing, and dissolve the assets, sell off the assets that they could, not pay anybody, and not fulfill the warranties. And
Wow.
yeah, and
Yeah.
but there's still people today. What is it, 20, 13, 14 years later, that still hold a grudge against me for Star Trek.
I know. I think it comes up with a lot of people, especially
Yeah.
but the joys about everyone getting older, they start to forget things, and then the new generation comes in, and then they all just think Star Trek's amazing. So it's hopefully they can let that. Most of the listeners here
Yeah.
won't know those problems, Michael.
Yeah. Well, and we've got quite a few new projects that are launching. I think figured out the other day we've got like 11 new products that are going to launch before February 1st.
Okay. Wow.
And
Wow.
that's exciting. That's always exciting. That's my favorite part of the business is
And,
um,
and, and how do you stay, with how like I'll give a compliment to you. We did an executive planning session. Well, when was it? A month ago. And what amazed me about you is the level of detail that one can hold in your head. You're like an elephant. And in terms of understanding the whole supply chain. So like everyone went through their presentations, and you knew everything about their own job. Like, is that would that be advice to
yeah.
CEOs and
Well,
entrepreneurs?
I did these things. I didn't read about them.
Yeah.
I didn't pretend to know them. Everything we talked about, for the most part, I had done at one part of my career,
Yeah.
or even to this day, I take great interest. I spent 2 hours with the head of my head of quality yesterday, and then 2 hours the day before, just
Yeah.
talking strategy and what we're going to do to go to the next tier.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
do that with everyone,
And
and
is that your?
that's it.
I guess that's your advice as well, because I feel like a lot of
Now, my
entrepreneurs these
advice,
days.
I'm going to tell you what my advice is. It's quite
Yeah.
simple. No matter what you do, no matter what you do what you said you're going to do when you said you're going to do it.
Nice.
And if you can't, call the person or the
Yeah.
people or the company and
Yeah.
tell them and explain to them what happened and why.
Yeah. Nice.
And
That's
and
partnership,
and
isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
stand up because I did it the other way. I remember a company that you're probably familiar with down there is Melbourne Star.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, I,
Yeah.
I was building bikes for them in the early days, and they were crazy. We had never built a mountain bike in our factory, and they gave me an order for 45,000 of them. Um, no, that's
Okay.
what I tell people. That's a great of a
Yeah.
salesman I was, and
Yeah.
we failed miserably to deliver those bikes, and the ones we did were horrible quality. Guys got fired. People lost their careers because of me, and I hid.
Oh, yeah.
And I hid from it, and I was I was physically ill,
Right.
and until
Yeah.
I stood
With
up
guilt
straight
or
and
yeah.
called them and
Yeah.
apologized and told them what happened,
Yeah.
and it was like cathartic. I was free, but I was chained
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
misery for a long time because of it. And so don't hide.
Yeah, yeah.
Come
Well,
clean.
in the end of the day, everyone's human, right? Everyone's human.
Yeah,
Everyone understands, and if you confront it, I think that you always get respect from fronting it. I think
yeah,
it's probably
yeah,
one thing that we've always connected over in terms of partners and delivering for partners. But again, when things happen, front it and be there to be able to do it. Don't let your team do it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
and then
I know you wanted to talk about digital, and obviously digital is a huge part of this industry and almost every industry. And it's just that it's not where my expertise is. And I believe in letting the people that know what they're talking about do it. And I don't pretend to know much about digital. But I
no,
think
that's
there's other
okay.
parts of the business that I could put my hands in and
Absolutely.
and and ask questions and make decisions and push back. You know,
Yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah. Nice. And then what for you in terms of the fitness industry into what's headed in the next decade? Kind of what worries you? What are you excited by? Not just core, just the actual industry.
I don't. I can't predict 10 years out. That's ludicrous. I don't know who put that question down there. I'm worried about this year. I'm worried
Yeah,
about where I'm having
fair.
Thanksgiving dinner and if I'm going to be able to go home for Christmas. And
Yeah,
no, we have a 2-year plan. We have
yeah,
a 2-year plan, and we go by in next year we'll add another year. And
yeah.
next year we'll add another year. I'm not looking 10 years out. Um, to be honest, I doubt that I'll be running this business 10 years from now, but
Sure.
I think the next 2 years are going to be wonderful for core and the
Yeah.
industry. It's a beautiful industry to be in. Think about it. You could be in the tobacco business. How would
Yeah,
you like if you were out selling cigarettes and
yeah,
or anything that's detrimental to people's health?
yeah.
Um,
It is. It
the
is nice to wake up every day and say, "Hey, I'm actually impacting people to be happier and healthier." For
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't think about that when I started the fitness business. I thought
Right.
about I'm here in China. I need
Yeah.
to make some money. I've been here 4 years and I'm broker than when I came, and I was really broke when I came.
Yes.
So
Yeah. And here's a
uh,
question. It's actually a digital question, but I'm going to flip it a little bit. So in terms of this is my last question. So the leaders and operators that are listening today, what's the piece of advice you'd leave them with as you look to future proof their business in a rapidly evolving digital world?
huh, that would be interesting. Never close the door because you don't understand.
Okay.
Um, find someone to explain to you clearly
Yeah.
so that you can use your innate intelligence and abilities
To understand.
to understand. And it's I get explained digital to me every day almost. I mean,
Mm.
we have people all around us that you know including you,
Yeah.
including Ella,
I was going to say,
including
is it especially
Travis.
your Wednesday one-to-ones with me?
Yeah, that I almost always make, right?
Yes, exactly.
But I can't tell you, just never give up. That's
Yeah,
it. Never, ever give up. And
Winston Churchill.
yeah, I
Mm,
mean, think about what those people went through, and just
yeah.
a few little business problems are no big deal.
That's a really good way to give perspective. And yeah, look, thank you for from the bottom of my heart, Michael. Like, thank you for everything you've done for this industry. I've got we've got a lot of shared friends, and they tell me a lot about you and a lot of great things about you and how you've always been there when they needed you. And I think that says a lot about the man. And I appreciate everything you've done for this industry. And thank you so much for joining me on the Wexer podcast.
Well, you're welcome. And I wish I could have smiled more. I only have three of those a day. So I think I used them up. I got good news from my wife today. So she told me to try and smile.
It's okay. It's okay. We
Okay.
the stories did enough. We don't need the smiles. The stories made us smile, Michael.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Well,
right. Thank you very much.
take care, guys. It was great. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers, Michael.